Alright, so let's do another example about the law of sines. Let's see the example first. As you see, the points ACD are collinear. The points ACD are collinear. That means this line is a straight line. So from A to D, this is a straight line. And the measure of this angle and the measure of this angle, when we add them, we are going to get 180 degrees because, from A to D, it is a straight line. And the measure of CAB is given as theta, and DCB, the measure of DCB is 90 minus theta. The length of AB is 3, the length of CB is 4. So we are going to find the tangent of theta. Alright, so first thing, let's find the measure of this angle. So we are going to subtract 90 minus theta from 180 to find the measure of this. So let's subtract from 180 degrees. We are going to subtract 90 minus theta. So let's distribute this minus. 180 degrees minus 90 degrees. Minus times minus is going to be plus. So minus 90 and minus theta is going to be plus theta. So plus theta. So 180 minus 90 will be 90. 90 plus theta is going to be the measure of this angle. 90 degrees plus theta. Alright. So now we can use the law of sines. 3 over sine of 90 degrees plus theta is going to be equal to 4 over sine of theta. This is an obtuse angle. So we can make it an acute angle. So we are going to draw our axes. So, we are going to find in which quadrant this is. 90 plus theta, in which quadrant this is. So let's assume that theta is an acute angle, because as you see, theta must be an acute angle. The sum of these angles add up to 180 degrees. If this is obtuse, then theta must be acute. So 90 plus theta is going to be in the second quadrant. This is for 0 degrees. This is 90, 180. So that's going to be in the second quadrant. So if this is 90 degrees, this part is going to be, let's say, theta degrees. And this is 90. So the measure of this angle, is going to be 90 plus theta. So this angle is going to be 90 degrees plus theta. So in order to find sine of 90 degrees plus theta, we have to figure out the sign of sine function in the second quadrant. And the sign of sine function in the second quadrant is positive because it is always the y coordinate. And in the second quadrant, y coordinates are always positive. So sine of 90 plus theta is going to be positive in the second quadrant. So we will put sine, the same function. And now we have to find the reference angle. The reference angle is the angle between the terminal side and the x-axis. So you see, if this is theta degrees, this angle right over here must be 90 minus theta. 90 minus theta, because this is a right angle, 90. If this is theta degrees, because this is 90 plus theta, 90 plus theta. If this is theta degrees, then it must be 90 minus theta degrees. So now we can say that sine of 90 plus theta is going to be equal to sine of 90 minus theta, because 90 minus theta is the reference angle, and in the second quadrant sine is positive. And sine and cosine functions are co-functions when the sum of the measures are 90 degrees. So sine of 90 degrees minus theta is going to be equal to cosine of theta. As you see, 90 minus theta plus theta is going to be 90. So this function and this function are co-functions. So sine of 90 degrees minus theta is going to be equal to cosine of theta. That means sine of 90 plus theta is going to be cosine of theta. Alright, so let's write this expression one more time. 3 over sine of 90 plus theta is going to be cosine of theta. Let's write cosine of theta is equal to 4 over sine of theta. Alright, so what is the question? The question is tangent of theta, and we know that tangent of theta is equal to sine of theta over cosine of theta. Alright, let's try to find the ratio between sine of theta and cosine of theta. We can actually change the places of 3 and sine of theta, and we can find that sine of theta over cosine of theta is going to be equal to 4 over 3. Let's just cross multiply these two, 3 times sine of theta, because we are cross multiplying, and 4 times cosine of theta. And now I want to divide both sides by cosine of theta, because I want to get sine of theta over cosine of theta. Divide both sides by cosine of theta. So I'm going to get these simplified. So I'm going to be left with here 3 times sine of theta over cosine of theta, which is tangent of theta, is equal to 4, because cosine of theta and cosine of theta cancelled out. And now I can divide both sides by 3, so I get tangent of theta is equal to 4 over 3. This is going to be the answer. Tangent of theta in this example, tangent of theta is going to be equal to 4 over 3.